Support WrestleTalk!
Thanks for your support on Patreon. Ben, hey now, you're a rock star. Haley. A new WWE title has been revealed. The Omnishane's power increases. And Brock Lesnar actually shows up for work. And what were the original scrapped plans for Money in the Bank? Click the timestamps in the video description below to go straight to any of those stories. I'm Ollie Davis. Give us a subscribe, press the thumbs up button, and answer our question of the day in the comments. What do you think of the new 24/7 championship? Because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere. And click the eye above my head to give your rating of the show, where you can choose from Rawsome, Core, Average, Poor, and Rawful, as I review the 20th of May 2019 edition of Monday Night Raw. After closing the previous night's Money in the Bank pay-per-view heelishly laughing at us all for thinking we were rid of him, Brock Lesnar opened this episode of Raw by heelishly listening to his briefcase like it's a boombox, or for younger viewers, a very large AirPod. All those questions you had about logic and who's really behind letting Lesnar win a match he wasn't even in were very helpfully not addressed at all, with Paul Heyman dismissing it as conspiracy theories, which is almost as unsatisfying as a series finale to Game of Thrones. Almost. It also leaves the identity of Sami Zayn's attacker rather appropriately hanging in the air. If Brock didn't take him out, then who did? The likely truth is that WWE don't care about their angles making sense, and much of this will never be addressed again, but it's a real ineffective use of all the heat Brock gained by winning the beefcase. Both Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston came out to challenge Lesnar tonight to cash in on them, but neither brought up how Brock just turned up to take the reward for everyone's hard work yet again, which to me was the major heel trait of the angle. Despite there being no authority figures these days, Triple H booked Seth and Kofi in a tag match against Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin for the night's main event.
Even post-Money in the Bank Raw can't escape the pull of Baron Corbin's mid-card vortex.
Also slowly being sucked into the mid-card of evil, Sami Zayn asked Lashley backstage for help against Braun Strowman in their match next, meaning WWE appeared to have forgotten about their worst feud of the year contender in 2018. I wish I could. Strowman chased Sami around the building and then pinned him in the ring, which was all really a backdrop to building Lashley versus Braun in Super Arabia. SmackDown's Lars Sullivan was about to speak for the first time in an exclusive interview with Charlie Caruso, but the Lucha House Party came out to get beaten up instead. Cesaro and Ricochet had a fantastic match that got the crowd chanting, "This is awesome! I just wish I saw it," because over half of it came in a commercial break and a shrink screen promo for The Secret Life of Pets 2. AJ Styles then slapped Baron Corbin in the face backstage. I've replayed this segment 9 times already. Roman Reigns continued to be overexposed on WWE TV by coming out next as Raw's permanent wildcard. But no matter which brand he's on, nobody can escape the Omnishane. They set up their match together at Super Arabia, which for some reason brought out Drew McIntyre, because heels! The Usos and the Revival were allowed to have an actual match next rather than a segment based on goofy toilet humor and shock horror. It was great, with several amazing near falls and the "This is awesome" chant. Tag division reminder though, the champions are still Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. I keep forgetting that. Even when the Firefly Funhouse isn't a full segment, it's still one of the best things in WWE. This week, Raw only played an extended opening credit sequence for the show, which started off happy, but then distorted into shots of crying children and Bray Wyatt's scary monster face. It was great. WWE then managed to put on a half-decent Moment of Bliss segment. Nikki Cross being fudged into Alexa's minion bestie aside, which is still a horribly awkward character turn. This was actually not that painful to watch for a change, which neatly transitioned into a 6-woman between Becky, Alexa, and Nikki beating the Iconics and Lacey Evans. Alexa didn't once get in the ring though, just awesomely sipping her coffee on the outside, implying she still isn't cleared to wrestle. And then we got the night's best segment, and possibly everyone's new favourite division for the months ahead. Mick Foley unveiling the hideous new 24/7 championship. Initially, this was met with an audible groan from the New York crowd, as on first impressions, it just sounds like a watered-down PG version of the hardcore belt. But then Foley revealed it wasn't just Raw and SmackDown wrestlers who could compete, it also extends to 205 Live, NXT, NXT UK, and Wrestling Legends. In your face, brand split! A scramble ensued with the undercard trying to become the first champion, including Drake Maverick. Which Titus O'Neil won, a reign that lasted barely a minute as Robert Roode attacked him on the ramp to become the second champion, which means mustache break! Hopefully the championship also extends to inanimate objects, like DDT's Iron Man heavy metalweight title, whose former champions include a pint of beer, a steel ladder, a stuffed Hello Kitty doll, and a miniature Dachshund dog called Kokolo. R-Truth tricked Roode in a later segment for another title change, and he's still the champion at the time of writing. Interestingly though, the 24/7 belt wasn't the only change to WWE Foley announced. He also promised, starting tonight, the third hour of Raw each and every week is about to get downright mean and nasty, a little bit dirty. And on saying that, the lighting for the arena changed, taking away a lot of the crowd illumination and making it more like the presentation of NXT. Sadly, even the darker lights couldn't diminish the presence of the Omnishane, where he interfered to help Drew McIntyre beat The Miz. Roman chased the heels off at the end. Samoa Joe revealed Rey Mysterio is injured, so he should do the right thing and hand him back his US title, which actually is the right thing, as Joe's shoulder was up when he lost it. The state of the US title will be revealed next week. And the main event was the Kofi and Seth versus Bobby and Baron Corbin tag match, which was suddenly changed to a no DQ stipulation during the entrances, implying some heel authority figure shenanigans. The real intrigue was once Kofi and Seth had won though, for Lesnar to come down and tease a cash-in. He's going to keep them waiting though, and he'll be on next week's Raw to announce who he'll fight. The 24/7 championship is a fun idea, and the production lighting change in the third hour gave Raw a different edge to usual. WWE are trying to improve their product, and for that they should be commended. But putting Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley in the main event and beating Ricochet in the second hour isn't the way to do that. This week's Raw is average. Now over to Pete with the news.
Great review, Ollie. I assume there's been at least one more 24/7 title change in the time you did your review. Now don't worry, Luke hasn't suddenly gotten shorter and a lot more handsome. It's just me filling in for him as he's had a busy weekend surrounding the whole ordeal with Hangman Page and Pac at WrestleGate. If you haven't seen what the story is about, make sure to click the eye above my head to be taken to that video right now. Pac has seemingly quit AEW with a replacement promised for Page at their debut show Double or Nothing. We're only 4 days away from the event, and if you're in the UK and wondering how to watch the show, it'll be available to watch on ITV Box Office, which you can find out more about by going to www.itvboxoffice.com and make sure to follow them on Twitter at ITV Wrestling. The links are in the video description below. Starcast 2 is set to take place in the days prior to Double or Nothing. However, one of the bigger names announced for the show has now been forced to be withdrawn. Two-time WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair was recently taken to a hospital in order to have heart surgery, with conflicting reports from TMZ Sports suggesting it was a medical emergency and he was rushed there, with others such as Ric Flair's own son-in-law, Conrad Thompson, stating that it was all a planned procedure in advance. I think I'd probably believe his family over TMZ. The surgery reportedly suffered from delays and complications, forcing Rick to pull out of his scheduled appearance at the event. It has not yet been confirmed as to whether there will be a replacement for him at the show or not. But in more positive news, it's being reported by TMZ Sports via a statement from Flair's wife Wendy Barlow that the surgery was a success and that Rick is now in recovery. Good on you, Rick. Woo! It's unfortunate that plans have to be changed so soon to the event taking place, but I'm sure if Rick was in tip-top shape, the plans would have remained. The same cannot be said, however, for Vince McMahon, who once again seems to have changed some major plans in WWE whenever he felt like it. This past Sunday saw Brock Lesnar make a shocking appearance back to the ring, winning the Money in the Bank match, even though he wasn't a competitor in the match. Makes perfect sense. Wrestling fans were left confused and angry at the outcome, especially considering that the reliable WrestleVotes had been reporting that WWE were looking to push the winner of the Money in the Bank match and make them look like a star. Well, now WrestleVotes have a follow-up, which also reveals the original plans for the winner of the match before Lesnar was decided. The Brock decision was made last weekend. Up until that point, it was nearly a 50-50 toss-up between McIntyre and Ali to take the briefcase. As this tweet was made yesterday on May 20th, it's unclear whether this means it was the weekend when Money in the Bank took place or the weekend prior, but regardless, it's clear that Andrade was never going to win the match, and that makes me sad. The decision to have Lesnar win the briefcase has been pretty openly lambasted by wrestling fans, but it's not just the fans that have been having their say, as one of the men that was reportedly touted to win the match has taken a shot at Lesnar, with Ali tweeting, "Look at the bright side. Brock Lesnar climbing a ladder is the most wrestling he's done all year."
Tweetality.
But Ali's not the only one getting in on the fun, as AEW's Chris Jericho chimed in with, "Awesome to see Brock Lesnar win the Money in the Bank match, even though he wasn't officially entered. Brock is the future of the biz, and this perfect example of genius booking shows why WWE will remain on top forever. Go Brock, go!" I'm not sure if you guys can pick up on this, it's very subtle, but I think maybe, just maybe, he might be being just a little sarcastic. Game of Thrones has aired its final episode. Click the video to my right to be taken to Screenstalker's review of it. But before you do, press the thumbs up, subscribe, enable notifications, and leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of this week's episode of Raw. A special thank you to our pledge hammers on Patreon, some of whom you can see scrolling below me right now. I've been Chopper Pete Quinnell, and that was wrestling.